friends, for Reading with Principal Rabb-Patterson. Today we're going to read Jump from the life of Michael Jordan, written by Floyd Cooper. This is in honor of our NBA playoffs that are going on. Who is your favorite team? Swooshing bodies start to bang, slamming sneakers start to skid. The ball starts and never stops moving, smooth and sweet from man to man to Mike. Jump from the life of Michael Jordan by Floyd Cooper. His name was Michael, and from the time he was a little boy, he always seemed to be in and out of mischief. His parents did their best to keep all of the Jordan kids busy at their homes in Wallace, North Carolina. James Ronald and Dolores, Larry, and Rosalind, those kids couldn't have been happier playing sports and games. But Michael, he just had a different kind of energy and curiosity too. Like the time his daddy told him, "Don't touch the axe," and Michael heard him say, plain as day, "Don't touch the axe." But he took the axe anyway, and behind the house he began to chop. Chop, chop, chop. It wasn't long before that axe came down on his 5-year-old toe. The Jordans kept on trying. 5 kids aren't easy. Along with sports, they gave all their children rules and chores to keep them plenty busy. But there just weren't enough rules or chores to make the boundless bustle of those Jordan kids. They bounced off the walls of their bungalow home, and young Michael was the bounciest. Maybe the Jordans figured if they moved to another house with more room and space. And that's what they did. When Michael was 7 years old, the Jordans moved to suburban Williamton, North Carolina. Michael's mom and dad even let the kids help build the house so they could learn how working together as a team was the way to get things done, and so they could get rid of some of that energy. At the new house, Michael ran and played with his new friends. Mostly, though, Michael tried to keep up with his older brother Larry. Trouble was no matter how Michael tried it. Seemed as if Larry was bigger, quicker, and luckier. Michael did not give up. No. The more Michael lost, the harder he tried. But the truth is, Larry was always one jump sooner in checkers, one stroke faster in swimming, one breath longer underwater. Larry dashed, Michael only ran. Larry sang, Michael croaked. Larry leaped, Michael only hopped. In fact, growing up, his family called Michael Rabbit. One of the first things that Michael's father had done at the new house was to put up a basketball hoop right in the backyard. Kids from all over around the world would play on that hoop. But more and more, after the other kids had gone, the games ended up being a contest between Larry and Michael. They would play one-on-one so much that the grass underneath the hoop refused to grow from the pounding. Michael wasn't growing much either, so he started hanging by his arms from a swing set for hours each day, hoping to stretch himself taller. But it was no use. For all too many years, Michael was still only Rabbit. Now Michael knew there was only one way for him to play basketball, better than Larry, and that was to play more. He looked to pick up games on the blacktop at school or in the park, or after he'd lose to Larry, he'd play alone, pounding and sweating and working that poor little backyard court like his sharecropper grandpa worked the soil, from daybreak to day's end. And he wouldn't stop until he heard the screen door spring and his father's voice saying, "Come in now, son. Time for bed." Just when he discovered the game at Laney High School, it's hard to say. But the sun seemed hotter there. The moves seemed quicker on the full blacktop court there. The hoops seemed higher, and the game seemed better to 11-year-old Michael. The raw power of the springy older players as they shot the ball and talked trash in the hot, salty breeze, now that was something to see and hear. What did he want? Why, he wanted to be asked to play. But for what seemed like a long time, he did little more than wish. Time helps, and it helped Michael. By the time he was in junior high, he was turning out to be a fair baseball player. In fact, when he was 12, he led his baseball team to the state championship. Grew smarter, too, persuading his friends to do some of his dreaded chores, like mowing the lawn and leaving him to do only the ones he enjoyed, like ironing his own shirts. And he began to grow taller than anyone in his family. Hanging on the swing set must have helped. One thing Michael always had time for was friends, and he had friends of many different backgrounds and cultures. His best friend was a white boy named David, and he hadn't given much thought to color until one day when he and David went to a swimming pool party and were surprised when Michael turned out to be the only black kid there. Michael was even more surprised when he jumped into the pool and all the white kids out. He decided he didn't want to be where he wasn't welcome and left the party. Michael knew he had a true friend when David left with him. Despite all the baseball that was going down, by the time he was in high school, Michael started to live and breathe basketball. He loved everything about it, the smell of the ball, the swoosh of the net. Soon it was all he wanted to play. He even gave up baseball. He saw less and less of Larry these days because Larry was becoming a true sports star. He was too busy to play with his little brother. More and more, Michael hung out at the blacktop by the high school. One day, the blacktop kids asked him to play. There was a crowd gathered by the fence, boys and girls, but this was Michael's chance. Suddenly, Michael had the ball. He dribbled it down the court, taking the ball hard to the hole, and just as he reached the rim, bam! A huge body slammed into Michael. From the hot tack tar, he looked up at the ball as it bounced off the rim. Michael had blown the layup. From the side, a voice broke, the slow-mo silence and a teasing, mocking whine. Hey, ears, open your eyes. Michael gritted himself back into the game, but the taunts began to spread from the onlookers. With each dribble, he was scolded at for his little boy haircut and the way his ears stuck out. With every layup, he was jeered about the way his tongue hung out of his mouth when he shot the ball, and right in front of all the girls. None of it stopped Michael. He came back and played the next day and the next and the next. And the truth is, he got better and better. Finally, one day, he and his buddy Leroy decided to try out for the Laney High School varsity basketball team. Surely he would make it. Larry had. But at the end of the week, when the list of players was put up, there was no Michael Jordan on it. Even Leroy had made the team. But Coach Herring had seen something he liked in the plucky kid. He put him on the junior varsity team and offered to coach Michael 1-to-1 if Michael would meet him before school every morning at 6 a.m. Michael not only came, he worked hard, dribbling, passing, shooting, and Michael began to get not just okay, but good. He got so good, in fact, that the varsity players started coming to all the junior varsity games to watch Michael play. We don't know exactly when Michael turned the tables on Larry for the first time, but it may very well have happened the summer that Michael shot up 4 inches and went to basketball camp. One afternoon, the two started going at it again in the backyard hoop. At first, it seemed just like old times. Family and friends gathered around the hot, sticky court to watch the two brothers. But something was different. When Larry dashed across the court, Michael was there. Larry leaped for the hoop. Michael was there too. Soon the brothers were in the thick of the game, a tangle of arms and legs flashing around the orange ball. Could Michael actually win? Larry wasn't worried. He was ahead of Michael by 1 point. Larry grinned. It was a usual end to the usual game. Then Michael had the ball. They both knew what usual meant. Michael would leap to dunk, and Larry would jump higher and grab it and dunk it for the win. Well, Michael leaped, just like always, and Larry leaped, just like always. But Michael kept going and going past the wide span of Larry's hand. It seemed as if Michael just hung there for a moment, as if waiting. Was it possible he had outjumped the master? He had, and he dunked the ball in the hoop for the win. Michael smiled. He had beaten his brother, the best at his own. The laughing and hand-slapping that followed the magical game followed Michael Jordan, Rabbit, through his entire career. From basketball camps to college teams and finally into the professional world of basketball, the NBA. And Larry was there too, always an athlete in his own right, but rooting for his best competitor. Brothers, friends, whatever, Michael Jordan had started at their backyard hoop with Larry, with games that went on past dark that pushed Michael Jordan to become more than he was and more than any basketball player he has ever been all time. And that was, Michael Jordan was born February 17th, 1963 in Brooklyn, New York, where his family was staying while his dad completed a training school for General Electric. As a testament to his close-knit they were, the whole family was there. His father, James, his mother, Dolores, his brothers, James, Ronald, and Larry, and his sister, Dolores. Shortly after Michael was born, the family moved home to Wallace, North Carolina, where their little sister, Rosalind, was born. Michael started his remarkable journey to stardom by failing. He failed to make the varsity basketball team at Laney High School, but he didn't quit. He worked hard on the junior varsity team, eventually got a chance to play for the varsity team, and led them to the championship. He went on to attend the University of North Carolina, where he led that team to 3 Atlantic Coast Conference championships and a National Collegiate Athletic Association championship. Michael's fame continued to bloom as he thrilled old fans and made new fans for basketball with each game he played. When he was invited to try out for the 1984 U.S. Olympic team, the whole world would get the chance to witness Michael's remarkable talents as he helped win the gold medal for the USA. But first, Michael made the decision to leave college and join the National Basketball Association. The Chicago Bulls were elated when it was their turn to select in the NBA draft and Michael Jordan was still available. Choosing third, they signed Michael to a 7-year contract. Michael had begun his professional career. Watching Michael play was quickly becoming a favorite pastime for more and more sports fans. In nearly every game he would perform some amazing move on the court, whether it was a twisting slash to the hoop to score or an incredible takeoff from the free throw line to slam down a tomahawk dunk. The Chicago Bulls improved each year, as did Michael's personal trophy case. From rookie year honors to scoring titles and all-star teams to slam dunk champion and most valuable player awards, Michael proved his worthiness as a champion. But with all these accomplishments, the Bulls and Michael still had not won an NBA championship. That all changed in 1990-1991 basketball season, when the Bulls, led by Michael, became NBA champions. Michael would go on his stellar career, acquiring more honors, including another Olympic gold medal and 5 more NBA championships. Michael retired from the game and came back twice in the 90s. First in 1994, he took some time off from basketball due to a family tragedy. He spent that season playing minor league baseball for the Birmingham Barons, an affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. Then after the 1997-98 basketball season, Michael retired from the game a second time. He passed his time in the front office of the Washington Wizards before finally joining the team as a player in 2001. Michael Jordan was back again. He played for 2 years, retiring for good in 2003. He left the game with many records intact, including career achievements of 6 NBA championships, 5 NBA awards, 13 All-Star games, and scoring 32,292 points. Even if Michael Jordan never plays in the NBA again, his presence on the court will live on in the spirit and eyes of the players that follow. Mike's presence will be there inside of all of those little like Mikes who grew up to become stars. Yes, there will be basketball players greater than Michael Jordan, but they will owe that greatness to Michael Jordan and the impact it had on their development, just as Michael owes those who came before him, like his brother, Larry. And that is the end of Jump. Hope you have a fabulous weekend. Bye, friends.